Hawaii. And, it was interesting because I was listening to a YouTube person that I listened to from Russia, he and his wife and their young child. And I've been watching him for quite a while now. And I'm always interested in hearing what they do and what their thoughts are. And I got to thinking he was just talking for a long time about an hour and a half. He's live, and I thought, yeah, I've got things I want to tell. He was just talking about everything. So I thought, well, that would be a really good thing to do today. Just talk about whatever comes to my mind. No time limit. Anyone who wants to watch can watch, about all kinds of thoughts that I have, all kinds of things that are happening. And so I just decided your friend in your Hawaii friend online. He said your Russian friends online, and I thought that's good because I listen to that family a lot, and they travel once in a while. They were able to travel to Turkey recently, and then now they're back in Russia, and they kind of tell what's happening in Russia, and they give it. It's not the media. It's just him explaining what is going on where he lives, and I thought, yeah, that's something that I like to talk about too. So as I went on to my Recharge, which is the host company that I use to send out the online video myself, I thought I saw that the last time I did a video was exactly 1 month ago. It was February 23rd, 2003. Of course, that's too long. I mean, I really want to stay in closer contact, but I've been really busy with what some personal things that are happening, which I'll share with you, and also what's happening as far as the world goes, communist China. I have a few countries that I focus in on: Poland, Taiwan, um, Hong Kong, China, communist China. Again, notice I separate Hong Kong and communist China. I don't consider them the same place. Um, USA. Those are pretty much the main countries I focus in on. And then I just pay attention. I write a lot. Every day I'm on the internet. Probably um, 80% of my time is on the internet, putting out information or reading and educating myself. I also watch YouTube a lot. Interestingly enough, I don't really read newspapers anymore. Once in a while, I'll come across the newspaper out when I'm out in the public area, and I'll pick it up and read it. But it's rare, that I read newspapers. So things have changed so much now, mainly because what's being put in the newspaper is so both opinionated, but also it's very limiting what you can read. They'll have one story about Russia, for example, or probably nothing on communist China, or for sure almost nothing on Hong Kong. And it just, I can easily go online and read 20 or 30 different stories and then kind of determine from there whether I agree with it or not. And also my local situation. I live in this place called Kapolei, Hawaii. I had lived in two other locations on this particular island previously. One was I would travel in and was my residence, but I would be traveling back and forth with my family. And so we actually stayed in the middle of the island, a beautiful place. The weather was really nice there. It's a suburb area, it wasn't a downtown area. And that was something that I really enjoyed doing, staying there. And so what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, while we're talking, I'm going to go on my YouTube and make sure that the audio is working on this, because if the microphone's not working, I don't want to talk for an hour and then have no sound. I've been actually having to do hang on, let me just check it out, if you don't mind. I'm on the internet. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So I was able to go on my YouTube and see the picture quality and the sound. Everything's fine, and it gets broadcast to two places: Facebook and YouTube. Now, if I pay this a free service. If I pay money, I can actually put it to lots of different social media sites. I'm thinking about it. It's tempting, to be honest. and then I got to spend time developing the social media sites with more viewership and members, joining in. But anyway, I'm happy with the way it is right now. So yeah, so I can't remember what I was talking about exactly. Oh yeah, where we were living, and then moved to another area. I really, for many years, I felt that I wanted to go and work as a pastor, as a missionary, mainly as a pastor, to this area called Waianae. It's an area where most of the native Hawaiian people live on this island, and it's also one of the poorer areas, so it's higher in crime, drugs and the things that go along with not having finances. So I wanted to go there, and I did. I ended up moving there, and we lived there for a while, and it was really too tough to live there. I still go there and help in the area with the people once a week at least, sometimes a couple times, monthly in addition to that. But while I was there, it was just really too tough, and that for me that's a lot because I've been to all over the world. I've been to 30 countries, and for me to say a place is too tough, it really had to do with me not looking Hawaiian and being Hawaiian by blood, and that's where I was in the middle of a Hawaiian place. So it was a bit that where people would say, "Oh, you're not from here, so we don't want you here," and and then also they have been their land's been taken away from them from colonizers, including the U.S. and other places in the years past, 100 years ago. So I just decided, well, and plus I needed to have my own enjoyment. When I was not working to help people, I could actually go and have a place to relax, and it was quiet and peaceful, and I enjoyed it. So I ended up moving to this place called Kapolei, which has everything. I really am happy here. Kapolei is not far from Pearl Harbor. I'm very happy here. It has great shopping everywhere around me. It has all the stores that you could possibly imagine. It has 5 minutes walk away, and then it has great restaurants, a lot of great restaurants. It's beautiful. It's not like living directly on the ocean. I'm a little bit back from the ocean, but I'm near enough that in 5 minutes I could be at the ocean if I wanted to. And and I also like the fact that I live on the flight path to Honolulu International Airport and also to the military bases. So every day I see military jets flying over, and I can look out and actually see, especially in the morning time, because that's when most of the planes are landing. I can see like planes from Finland, Finnair. I can see Korean Air. I can actually see the side of the plane, and I can tell where the planes are from. And to me, that's enjoyable because a lot of those flights, airlines I've flown on in the past. So it's enjoying, and it's just the landing path. So it's not the takeoff path. They're landing, they're getting lower, and they're high enough that you can't really hear them. Especially, I have air conditioning on during the day. Usually, I have the windows closed, and the helicopters that fly over, mostly military, but some private helicopters. That's also fun to watch. They fly a little bit lower, so that makes it so that you can hear them a little bit more. But they're not long. They just fly over and a few times a day, and that's also enjoyable because they're special military helicopters. Sometimes you can see them land kind of in the distance. We have used to be a Navy air base just in front of my house over there. When I say over there, it's like a mile away or something like that, not far away. And but they don't really have planes take off and land anymore because it's being used now as a Coast Guard base, and they deactivated it as a Navy base years ago. So, but they still have the buildings over there, and I go over there pretty frequently. Usually once a month, I have an appointment over there for some reason, and that's always fun to go to too. So that's called Kapolei, and I'm about 20 minutes from, if you drive, or maybe not even that, 15 minutes to Pearl Harbor. if you go to the top of my building is 4 stories tall. So if you go up to the top of my building, you can see Pearl Harbor and Diamond Head from the windows. It's pretty great actually, and so that's always enjoyable. I go down in that area or downtown usually at least twice a month. So I pass by Pearl Harbor. If they have some special activity going on at Pearl Harbor, I go over there and I participate in it. Always enjoyable for me. Tomorrow I'm going to go up to Tripler Army Medical Center because I'm an Army veteran, so I have free medical care, and I go up there and get medical care tomorrow. Just let's see, why am I? Oh, I'm going up there for lunch. No medical care tomorrow. Just having a good lunch. Chicken cacciatore is what they're serving, and it tastes pretty good. So, and then I'm coming back. I'm filing my taxes. I'm in the process of doing that now. And tomorrow's I've got to finish the paperwork on that and send it away. And so all is good here. I love it here. I wanted to live in Hawaii from the first day that I set foot on the island of Hawaii, which was 1985, I believe it was, or maybe 86, early 86. As soon as I flew in, I came to a Bible school here on another island called the Big Island of Hawaii, Kona. And I went there and I flew into Honolulu from Chicago. And as soon as I landed, I just knew that this was a place I wanted to live. And that was a long time ago. And I lived here for say 6 to 8 months going to school. And then I flew off and I would always come back. And I set up my residency here. And I would always come back and forth and I would stay because I was a missionary in many countries of the world during that 30-year period. So I would always come back because this was my home base. And then when I kind of retired, I use that word lightly, retired, because I don't really look at myself as doing nothing, but I can do whatever I want to do, enjoyable. I can help people. I can not. I can stay home. I can watch movies. I can communicate. That's retirement. And so when I reached that point, I just said, okay, I'm going back to Hawaii, and that's going to be it for me. No more traveling unless it's something very unusual. Just staying here and enjoying my life because I'm 65. I'll be 66 in June, and so for me, that was what I wanted to do with my life. It worked out fine. Let me grab some coffee here. I have a wonderful family. I'm very blessed that way. And later on that, maybe a little more in the future. I'm kind of a quiet person. I don't talk too much about my personal life, but I do let things out. I talk more about myself and what I'm doing, what's happening around me, that kind of thing. And I always enjoy seeing the people come online. I see. Let's see if there's anybody made a chat. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, let me read Tong Wu. He's not online now because there's nobody online except me. It says, "Good morning, Tong Wu. Thank you for doing what you are doing." Well, yeah, I've not given up, especially for communist Hong Kong. I speak out against communism, but I speak for the Hong Kongers, and I spent 28 years there, and in and out of communist China, along with traveling to other countries. And I just will tell you, I'm still working hard because if we don't speak out, then people won't know. And whether it's 5 people know that I'm able to reach, or whether it's 500 people, at least I'm not keeping quiet. Try everything I have seen this phrase before. I bet you have too. When you start the journey, the path appears, or something like that. Yeah, you just take one step forwards each time. The thing that you don't want to do is just stand there and do nothing, because there's always something you can do, and hopefully you're doing something in the right direction. You try to take a step in the right direction. That's always been my plan and my goal, and I've been able to do a lot. I've had things that were tough at different times, but by far it was great it was, when I look back on my life, I said, I'm really happy with my life. I did a lot. I helped a lot of people. I got to know people. I saw a lot. And that makes all the difference in the world. If I had just stayed back in my hometown, which was Bloomington, Illinois, and just, gotten a job when I graduated from high school and then later university, if I had just stayed there, I would just be, I'd still be there doing nothing, except getting up in the morning, going to bed at night, and working in between. But what I did, and I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm just saying that that's not what I did. I took one step as I was able in each direction, in the direction that I thought was right. And it worked out really well. So, you know, going back a little bit to Hawaii, as you can see the background, those are turtles. I needed to get something that's a brick wall or concrete brick wall, which is common in Hawaii. They use wood for houses, and then they also use a lot of like concrete cement blocks for that's good because you don't have termite problems, and they're very stable and very soundproof. So, but you can't really put holes in the wall. So I had to find something that was lightweight and not expensive, and I found that that's a beach mat, and and they come in different colors. I bought 3 different colors, and they're very lightweight and they're very inexpensive, like $8 US. So I thought, well, I can stick it to the wall, it will work perfect. And it did. And then over here, the older style, my building's about 10 or 15 years old. It's not a brand new building, which I'm thankful for because the construction of my building is really good. Um, the newer buildings, they're designing them, building them a little bit cheaper. Like that's everywhere in the world, right? And so these are wooden cabinets for my kitchen area, and they're really like solid wood, and they're not that cheap particle board. So even though it does kind of look a little older style, it really fits in with Hawaii because Hawaii is not like other places. They make it more nature and traditional, and it's wood. That's very natural for sure, and they're really solid. So I'm really happy about that. And then I've got this lamp over here. I wanted a Tiffany lamp, but I was not really willing to pay $200 for a Tiffany style lamp. They're called Tiffany lamps. I mean, Tiffany lamps, real ones, are like $10,000 or something. So this is just a fake one, but it's made out of glass and it's very well made. And someone who was one of my neighbors in my building, he was actually found that in the garbage. He gave it to me, and he didn't know that I was looking for one. I had actually been looking online because I wanted to see if I could find a cheaper one. And he gave me this right here, and I actually had from the thrift shop, the bottom piece right there, and so it fit perfectly. And like I say, it's real glass. I don't know what the difference is between a real Tiffany and that one, but it's not plastic. So it turned out perfect. And I said, thank you, God, when that happened, because I had been looking for months, and I had actually been looking that day or the day before online, trying to figure out, whether would buy one. So that worked out good. And then I have this case, a ukulele case there. It doesn't have a ukulele in it. Um, my friend Danny back in Hong Kong gave that to me before I left as a going away gift, and it's handmade. It's not plastic. I'm not sure how they made it, but it's beautiful. And someday I'm going to get a real ukulele, and I'm going to put it in there, even if I don't know how to play it. Maybe someone will come here and visit me who knows how to play a ukulele or a guitar, and then I'll say, here you go. There it is right there. I have a cheap ukulele over there I found in the garbage again, the rubbish bin outside. And because I live in an apartment building in townhouses, and people move in and out at different times, and they don't take their stuff with them. They just throw it in the garbage. So you can find some good stuff there. And then it's kind of like a tourist ukulele. It's not a high quality one. And I have that down there on the floor, but it wouldn't be one you could use for really playing music. And then, well, I have another one up there, as you can see. I think I found that one too at the. I bought it at the thrift shop for a couple bucks. Again, just for show. And I have a fish net there with a star, and from the sea and some shells. And then I have the hat here, which I bought over at Ross for $12 or $14. Good for going out if it's really you want to use it. You want to spend the whole day out because it really protects your whole face and your whole body. But I put it up as a decoration, and I don't wear it too much, but I might in the future, more. So yeah, everything is good. And then I think if you can look right there, you can see the cat. I think that's the cat. I'm almost sure. And I have the cat. He usually sleeps on the sofa. And then I have the dog right below me. He's wanting to jump up on my lap. Should I do it? He'll sit right here if I let him do it, right? Uh, yeah, that'd be nice. Johnny, his name's Johnny. He was a homeless dog. Oh, he heard his name. He got real excited. Hang on. Okay, let me get Johnny all set. Okay, John, sit down. There you go. There's Johnny right there. Okay, you can see Johnny. Why not? Because I'm going to relax. I had to pull the chair back a little bit, a little more comfortable. And so, yeah. And then I bought this game board over at Ross. I don't know, it was like $20 probably, or maybe $15 just around Christmas time. It's got 6 games in it. I really am not a big game person. I don't play games. I don't like cards. Um, but I do know people who like games a lot, and this would be a chess board or checkers. And I bought that, and I said, why not? It looks nice. I can put it on my table, and so I got it. It looks nice. So everything is good here, I could say. Uh, the thing about Hawaii that's really nice is it's just the weather. The weather is nice. We have rain. We have it can get a little bit chilly for Hawaii where you need a jacket. You get a little cold if you go out short. It doesn't happen very often. It happens maybe a month, a few times a month for 1 month period. It's very rare, but the rest of the time, the daytime is perfect. During the summer, the island has there are 7 or 8 islands on the chain of Hawaii, and I'm on the most populated area island called Oahu, also the most developed. It's about 1 million people here, and they have different heights and mountains and sea, and then you have because of the height of the as you go up say the mountain, it gets cooler because you're going up, so it can vary by like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature. And I happen to live in one of the warmer areas. During the winter for 8 months a year, it's perfect day and night. And then that 4 month period, which is the summertime, it gets warm, especially at daytime. So it's not a problem because I have air conditioner here and I can afford it. So I put on the air conditioner all day, and then at night I'll stop the air. It'll be warm, but you can sleep comfortably, but without a sheet or anything. So that's I wouldn't call it I would say it's a bit of a disadvantage, a bit, but not terrible. And then we always 98% of the time we have blue skies with beautiful puffy clouds, and at nighttime you can see the stars, so it's really clear. We have a sea breeze that comes off the sea pretty much every day. You get a breeze, so it's not really humid. It's just a nice comfortable breeze. And then from the mountain, sometimes we have a mountain behind the house. The rain will come down off the mountain most of the time, and you'll get a breeze from off the mountain. It varies either from the sea or from the mountain. Um, that makes it really beautiful. And the beaches are nearby, they're not far away. There's all kinds of beaches. I mean, the whole island is one big beach, but some beaches are just more beautiful, more what you're looking for. Some people like the rocky beach, and some like the cliffy beach where they're drop offs to the beach. Some like the sand. I like the sandy beach, and they have beautiful beaches around here. and it just depends on what you're looking for. Um, so yeah, that's really one of the best things I could say. Um, the people here are very, very friendly. When you come here, people are really friendly. By nature, people who live on Hawaii Island are friendly. um, if you say hello, they smile at you, they try to help you. If you say hello to them, they'll say hello back. um, so that's all good, I can say. One of the things I like about living here. So yeah, and then I spend 80%, maybe more, of my time reading, reading online, getting information about China, getting information about Russia, about the world in general, I could say, but not too much about the world. But I focus more on China and Hong Kong. So, and also the U.S. I pay attention to what's happening here. So when I look at those three things, and then I put it into the context of who I am as a person. I'm a Christian, and I talk about what I believe, what I think those events, how they're influencing me as a Christian, but also people around the world, and where I see it going. So I didn't leave Hong Kong. I left Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong for, I think it was 28 years, and I also spent time in communist China. So that that I spent at that point in time, I spent more time in a communist country than I had in the U.S. So, or anywhere else. So if you look at me as a person, you'd almost have to say I know more about communism than I do about a free democratic society, because I spent more time in a communist country. Um, I mean, I no, I'm not saying I bought into it, not at all. In fact, by staying there, I learned what not to say and what to say to the world about that place and that system. So, I'm not someone who didn't. Probably you'll hear very few people who spent 28 years in a communist country. I'm one of them, and so I'll be able to speak with some authority about why I'm saying what I'm saying, why I believe what I believe. So I pay attention closely to what's happening. And I had to leave simply because in communist China took over the people of Hong Kong, and they brought in these really terrible kind of like persecution rules to people. You couldn't say what you thought. You couldn't speak out. They stopped promoting books with freedom of thought. They started to educate the children totally that communist China is right and everybody else is wrong. And all those things were terrible from my standpoint. So it really, with that kind of viewpoint, it's dangerous. And I just said it's not worth it anymore here. I can still do things outside that I can do outside of communist China or communist Hong Kong that I couldn't do there, like speak out like I'm doing now. And so I had to make some tough decision, but at that time I just knew it was the right time. And fortunately, I had minimal problems to leave. While almost all my friends that I knew had problems and they stayed behind or they got trapped there, and that was really terrible. So I wouldn't be doing really quite the right thing as a human being if I didn't speak about them, because they're friends that I knew. I was friendly to them, they were friendly to me. Sometimes we disagreed politically on how some of them promoted communist China too much, and I promoted communist China zero. So those were things, but those were just differences of opinion, and I made decisions of whether how much time to spend with people based upon whether I agreed with them, how much I agreed with them. And but to see them suffer was really, really is tough, because they still are suffering. And I was able to get away, but there's a group of people that I know who did get away, a few, and they're in different parts of the world. So some of them I stay in contact with, and some of them I pay attention to on Facebook. But a lot of them have kept quiet, mainly because they had family members that remained behind, and that the communists make trouble for your family members, or your friends. So that's a terrible place. And you know, I had just reached the age where I really didn't want to stay there any longer because I wanted to come back. And again, I use the word quote unquote retirement because, I'm not really retired. I'm still doing things, but it was just at that stage in my life where it was time to leave. And, and so I did. Oh, there goes a private plane flying directly over my head. I can see it. A private one of those like Piper, I think they call them, the private planes with one engine. It's great, right? I can look right out here. I'm looking right out my window at the planes. Fabulous. Um, and so yeah, I can share a little bit about what I'm doing with um, the church here and how that's all done. I came. I've always worked. I've been selective on which churches I have a close relationship with, because there's lots and lots of different churches. And especially in Hawaii, they're everywhere. They're like on every corner, but they all believe slightly different things, not about the primary things usually, but about kind of secondary things. So I was like, okay, I really want to feel comfortable. And I've never been the kind of person who said, don't go to church. I think the advantages of going to a church, which I think also the Bible teaches, is far outweigh staying home and not going to church. So I've always been active in the church and having a church base. I'm happy about that. Uh, but here, it was kind of an interesting journey because I had a choice to make. Do I find a church, and do I just stay there and then just work with the people who are in that church? And, you can get churches that are small, that are like 25 people, and then you can get churches that are like 500 people, large churches. And you have to decide what kind of church fits your needs. But more importantly is I wanted to do something where I was surrounded by other believers so I wouldn't get discouraged and I'd stay on the right track. And yet at the same time, I was going out and helping people. So I went to one church here that was a Samoan church, and I went there for about a year, but they didn't really have the desire to go outside and reach out to the people that I felt I wanted to reach out to, which were, as I mentioned earlier, the people in Waianae, the local people, Hawaiians who are suffering because of being poor. And they weren't really doing much with that. And that was kind of the primary reason that I said, okay, I'm going to start a church with those poor people and the homeless people, and then we're going to invite everybody over. But I need to have a team that alongside me. So I did. I was able to get a couple people, and wouldn't you know, the phone would ring. Hang on, I'll take the phone. Get down. I thought nobody's going to call me. Hang on. Hello? Yes. Oh, Arthur, I'm on the video right now. You have to call me back in about maybe half an hour. An hour. Thanks. Oh, no problem. I'll talk to you. Oh, well. Hey, that's live in the internet age. Today is a Sunday, and I was like, oh, no one's going to call me, on a Sunday. I don't get calls very often anyway, but someone called me, and it's a good friend of mine who immigrated to Hawaii from Hong Kong. And so I told him to call back. All right. So sorry about that. So yeah, that's life here. And let me think. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, about the church. So yeah, so I had a couple of small group of people that work alongside me, and then we went over and we just set up a church, and we went into this homeless area where we're inviting anybody that comes in that wants to come. You don't have to be homeless, and we do it every Saturday morning for about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. And I help the people the best I can. It's typical church, but it's not without. We don't have walls. We don't. We're in an open area, and like yesterday was really a rewarding day because um, there were let me think about there were just try to bring up how I help people yesterday. I brought some food, extra food that I had, bags of beef stew, like an MRI bag, meals ready to eat bag full of stew, and I had quite a few of those, and I had 4 or 5 big blocks of cheese, and I wanted to distribute them to people I knew who really could not get are hungry or they need food. Um, so I waited for the right people, and sure enough, the right person came along. It was a woman. She's not a member of the church. She doesn't attend, but she's always friendly to me. Kind of a younger woman, 25 or 30. And what I noticed was she was pulling this cart, and inside these huge, humongous bags were all kinds of cans and plastic bottles. So she was collecting can. She wasn't not working. She was trying to make money because every can or bottle you get in Hawaii, you get 5 cents for. So if you get 20 cans, you get $1. So she had huge bags, and she was going around collecting them from the garbage cans. And I thought, that's good. She's trying to make money. She's not living off the government, the welfare. And she was probably 30, 35. And I talked to her. I stopped her and I asked her, I said, oh, you know, about the circumstance. And I think I asked her initially, do you have kids? And she said, yeah, I've got 2 children, and I'm collecting cans to make money. And I complimented her, and I told her, well, thank you for that. And then what I did was I took all the food that I had, except 1 block of cheese, and I gave it to her because of her family, and because the main reason was she was trying her best to make money, you know. So in her situation, as is common, probably she had the children, maybe the father, you know, there were problems, maybe he wasn't around, or maybe she wasn't letting him around, who knows the reason. But most likely, she can't just go out and get a job anywhere like McDonald's because she has 2 kids to take care of. And so I decided, yeah, give her. And then I have a couple other kids. There's another ministry that comes alongside. We don't really work directly together, but we know each other, and I go over and spend time with them quite often. And they focus in on the children in that area. And they had 22 children, young children, not teenagers, like up to about 14, from say 4 years old to 14. And they come every Saturday. And I've gone over and helped them out in the past, and I watch them, and I know everybody. So I went over, and they do a little bit of a Bible study, but then they play games with the kids because the kids have nobody to play with them in that particular area. And they teach about Jesus to the kids, and it was good. So I went over there, and I helped them out and watched them a little bit and said hello to people. And then there's a lot of houseless people around that area too, and they're nice people. I mean, you do have to pay attention, because now recently, in the past few months, it's changed. Now there's a lot more younger people that are like 20 to 25, and they're I think they're druggies, but that wasn't normal. Before, we had older people. We had like 30, 40, 50, 60. And now there's a little bit younger group, and their thinking is a little bit, I could say, aggressive. So you have to be on the lookout. But it's not a major problem. It's just you shouldn't be stupid, do stupid things. And so then I saw we got about 10, stray dogs that walk around, that they don't belong to anybody. And the houseless people feed them as they're able to, and they have names for them. But there was one that was starving. He was very thin. He didn't look healthy, but he could walk around. He was friendly. And then I called the Humane Society because I thought he might be in the process of dying, from not having food. And they came out and they couldn't catch him. They couldn't catch. But we were friendly to the dog. Dog would come over to me, but when he'd see the dog catcher come, because Humane Society supposedly doesn't kill the animals. And I found out differently from the guy who catches them, which I'll share with you. So uh, that dog who was on the older side, he was smart. As soon as he saw the guy with the leash, he was like, no, he stayed just far enough away that they couldn't catch him. So the guy drove away. But I'm kind of glad he did, because the catcher told me that because of his age, this particular dog was older, very friendly, but he was very thin, and he wasn't like having a lot of energy. You could see his ribs. I took photos, which unfortunately I can't show you now. And the dog catcher said because of his age, most likely they would put him down, meaning they would, give him an injection and kill him. And I didn't think he deserved that, because he could still get around. He was still friendly to people, and he could move around. It wasn't like he was laying down and couldn't get up. But he definitely needed help. So so he got left behind, and then the catcher drove off. So that was that was good. And then I talked to a few people there that I know. We didn't have our normal Bible study yesterday, for whatever reason. Usually we have our Bible study every Saturday, and the reason I do Saturday instead of Sunday is because the people who help me out, who come in and help me out, also go to church on Sunday, and they have a very big family. They're Samoan, and so they also go to church on Sunday. So that makes it so that we couldn't do my church on Sunday and their church at the same time. So we set it up for Saturday. But we've got plans for 3 or 4 months. I'm gonna do a church out near the main street. There's a street out there, and we're gonna do it out there, and we're gonna put up a sign. And I've already I'm going to order the sign this week, a banner. It's going to say Jesus Lives, and I'm going to get a website. So it might say jesuslives.org or com or something. And then I'll just put some basic information up about what time we meet, who we are. And then, so that'll be real interesting. And then we'll do baptisms out there. I'll do a service, and same time. I'm planning on keeping the same time, but then we may have somebody deliver some meals, perhaps. That I'm trying to work on arranging that. Not been able to successfully do it yet, but I'm working on it. And then a few days ago, I had a meeting at another ministry that reaches out to houseless people in that area, and we had about 20 staff members there. But there were 3 staff members who knew a lot about what they were talking about. And so I got their numbers, and we're going to try to get together, compare notes, because they reach out to a certain group of people, and I reach out to a different group of people. And then the third group person reaches out to a different group of people, not really connected, outside of we want to help people who are houseless or their families, but they know resources that I don't know, or they have contacts that I don't know. So that was a good meeting, and I was able to gather some contacts up. So that's what I do. And they're nice people, very, very nice people. Again, you just have to be on the wise side about if you see someone who's got some mental illness, you don't get near them, because you don't know what to expect, and you have to kind of figure out how to get someone who specializes with them, to help them. But by far, most people are just normal people. Then you have the elderly, which a lot of them have physical problems, and they can't go anywhere. And you've got a very small number that live in a tent, and they can't get out of their tent because of age, health reasons. And they really are the ones that they can easily starve to death. No one will go in, and the other houseless people go to try to help them. But it's in such a situation that they're not able to, it's not their job to feed someone. So that I also work with them, and It's been a great experience, learning experience. I would be pretty uncaring not to care about people like that. It's easy for me to do, but it's easy for me to just not care because I have such an easy and a good life. But these are people that literally are suffering, and if there's a way I can go and at the same time share about Jesus and why why I'm motivated to help them, because it's not about, oh, you have to become a believer. No, it's not like that. This is why I do what I do. And then if that uh, makes a difference to you in some way, I'm happy about that. Maybe that can help you out, becoming a believer in Jesus. So that's what I do. What I do. So yeah, trying to think about what else I love about this place. Well, we're working hard on getting Hong Kong people here from um, from now communist Hong Kong. That's really my focus. I'm not really interested in bringing people in from communist China, just from Hong Kong, because I spent 28 years there, and I'm also a true Hong Konger myself, and that most people call me that who are in Hong Kong. So I'm working on that, but boy, we have challenges. I got about 98% of it solved, but that 2% is the part that needs to be done, and I can't do that. I can solve that. So we have a small group of people who are from Hong Kong who have immigrated here, who want to help out the people from Hong Kong. They can immigrate here, they can work here, they can apply for refugee status because they were suffering so much in communist Hong Kong the last 20 years. So we got that all set up. The only problem we have is housing. Housing is so expensive here. So if a person doesn't have the money, which a lot of them don't in Hong Kong, they're just people who are 25, 30 years older, they're students, they're younger, and they were fighting for their freedom, but they don't have the money to come here and rent a house or an apartment. Uh, and they're most likely would be by themselves. So there some of them would have family members, of course, but they would just show up. And how do you solve that problem? I can't house people. Even it's against the rules for me to put people in my own house for a long period of time. So we don't have a solution to that, unfortunately. But I've been working hard on it. Everything else is pretty much set up. I would say jobs are no problem. Getting the right to live here, applying for refugee status, that's no problem. So at what we've determined is if a person can get to this island or anywhere in the US, right? But we can only help people who come here. They can come in as a tourist visa and apply for refugee status immediately. Or you can stay for your tourist visa and then at any point apply for refugee status. So I won't go into the detail about that, but that's possible. That's easily done. Uh, Getting a job is not real difficult here. If you get the right, once you apply for refugee status, you get the right to work, and then you can apply and get a job. Uh, will you be able to cover your rent and your food? Maybe not, because if you have a low income kind of a job, it would be really tough. It's possible, but it would be tough. But the main problem is the housing. And the other way people can come here is if they're students. They apply lots of schools here and universities, junior colleges. You can apply to come as a student, and you can do the same thing. When you arrive, you stay in a dorm, but you have to have money to do that, because the schools are not free and it's not cheap. So if a family has the finances to do that, or a person, they can come. They can get the school to issue them a student visa, and then when they get here, they can apply as a refugee and just end up staying. But again, so the people who have no money are the ones, or very little money. Those are the ones that we don't have a solution for at this point in time. So I'm thinking about how to do that. But that's been, that I need to work on that more, because I need to let people know what the options are. Here is really a great place. We do have a small community of Hong Kong people. Most of them are Taiwan, which are also very helpful. But we don't. It's the majority are not from communist China. The Chinese people who live here, and we do have a Chinatown where the Chinese food is down there, and everything. The writing is traditional Chinese. It's not simplified characters. So um, there is a way to feel comfortable here, but the weather is very similar to Hong Kong. The weather is very similar. um, the culture, 60 or 70% of the people who live on the island of this island are Asian, and Japanese. I think are Philippine is the first one, then it's Japanese, then it's Chinese number two, and then it's Japanese. So it's very Asian culture here. So, and Asian people, they look Asian, so, or Polynesian. So that makes it more comfortable, I could say. So those are all things that I think are really, really good about this place. Uh, I'm working hard, and I'm always tired a bit because I think part of it's my age, but part of it also is that I just have I can have an easy life, but I'm always on the guard against just like kicking back and doing nothing, because that's not really what I want to do with my life. I want to help people and not just help myself. So that means I have to do things. I have to have meetings, I have to go places, I have to do studying on certain aspects of how to get people here, or the church, to go out and help the houseless people or the families. We have a lot of dysfunctional families in that area called Waianae. Parents and husbands and wives or couples are broken up and they have kids, and or the one parent is kept away from the children. That's common for whatever reason. Some mostly not good reasons. Um, so yeah, that's those are the things I work on. Working on getting a car. For those of you who are listening, I'm just doing a long video because who knows, there might be one person who really likes to listen to me. Like I was listening to the Russian guy today and his wife, and I was listening to them for about an hour. I did pick up a lot of things I hadn't known about Russia, so that was really interesting. But so I just thought, well, I'll just talk away, and maybe I'll get that one or two person that really wants to listen to me and enjoys listening, and maybe they pick up some new ideas that they hadn't thought of before. They get to know me better, which is also important, you know. So yeah, I'm sitting here in my house. I'm not going to show you everything, but I have a nice, comfortable place. Might have two people living here soon, family members. I'm working on three, but it's big enough. Um, but if I get more than three, it would not be big enough. So right now it's okay. And so we have a very comfortable life. I love it, actually. I have a very, very beautiful place, and the surrounding area is beautiful, and it's really easy for me to get around. But I think I'm going to get a car because not also for my kids, but if the time comes that I need to do that, and then it's just easier for them to go to school, university, because I don't live right next to the university. It's 5-minute drive away, but then there's other universities that are like 45-minute drive away. So it makes life a lot easier. You don't have to take a bus to go to school. You can just drive there. So I'm working on that. I've been spending time going to the car lots, looking at cars. I want to buy a brand new car because I want a car I'm going to keep it for a long time, 10 or 20 years. No, maybe 10 years. Okay. And I'm just going to keep, keep it maintained well, and it's going to be covered by warranty for 3 to 5 years. Something's not working about, we don't have to worry about the kids going out and them having the car break down. Um, and it's just a less expensive, probably the least expensive cars, not the expensive one, because I can't really afford that. But and then yeah, that will be good, I would say. I don't really need a car myself because the government provides wherever I need to go. I just make a phone call and they send me a van and I get to go wherever I want. So that works out good. That's because of my age. I do have disabilities. I have a hearing problems, hearing aids, and got a little bit of neck problem. So they treat me well. Okay. Asthma. I have asthma, but so yeah, it's really just for the family, and I'm working on that. I'll let you know when that happens. I'm not going to drive it myself. I'm just going to put it out there in the parking lot. That's it. And then here's the keys. If the kids, if you want to, got to go somewhere, here you go. Put gas money in. Uh, and what else? Yeah, life's good. You don't really need much with clothing, and I have a really nicely furnished place, as you can see. I've had people write back and say, "Wow, you did that so fast." I kind of know how to furnish a place really fast. You can order stuff online and they deliver it to your door. And then sometimes you pay a little extra money if it's something that's complicated. They put it together for you. You don't have to get a screwdriver. But most of the stuff I put together myself. This sofa was is it came completely made like that. It's like you fold down the back cushion and it becomes a bed. It's called a futon. Yeah, it's good. If someone comes over and they want to sleep, no problem. There's a place. Very comfortable. And this chair came completely put together. They delivered to my door. They brought it in here and they set it right down. And I got it at a really good price. And it folds back, and you could actually sleep in this chair. It's where I spend all my time. Very comfortable. And also Johnny the dog, he spends his time here. Uh, so yeah, I can. And then I have that screen right there. I bought that online. That folds out. It's Japanese kind of a cherry blossom design on it, and it folds out, and you can actually partition off this room. So you can put it across, and you separate the kitchen area, the dining area from this area. So if someone wants privacy, they can have it. In either room. And what else? Yeah, I mean, life's good. I was able to get a second. I have a big. I'm looking right now at a big screen TV. I think it's 65 inches or something. I'm not sure the size. I forgot, but it works really great, and I can connect to Roku, which is all kinds of free TV programs. And then I went. Someone was getting rid of a bed and breakfast that they had nearby here, and it's a brand new house because they've changed the laws in Hawaii about bed and breakfasts. So they didn't really want to deal with that anymore. So they had this huge house full of absolutely beautiful, high grade furniture, high quality furniture. And they were just like, they weren't, well, they did give away a lot of things. They gave me some things, but they were selling it for next to nothing. So I bought a big screen TV, 60-inch, another one for the other bedroom. And, you know, perfect, right? And then I bought all kinds of flowers, like artificial looking flowers, so I don't have to water them, and they look great in here. They just gave those to me. So and rugs, so that was really great. So yeah, life is good. And then you can't really see it, but over here I have a bookshelf. I have two bedrooms, and I have a bookshelf here in the sitting room full of books. And the way I got all those books, and they're really great books, and also DVDs, really great DVDs, um, movies, things like that, is that I went to the library, and here in Hawaii, for some reason, they have a huge section. Every library has a huge section full of books that they're just giving away, and they're like really great books, and most of them are new. I don't know why they're giving them away, and I don't really care why, but they're um, they're in like brand new condition or just slightly used, and they just give them away. Maybe they don't have room for them on the shelves. So you had all these great books, and I just go over there and pick out as many books as I want to two or three different libraries, and DVDs, and I put them in my bag, and I leave a small donation to kind of help them out, and I just have all these books. So I have all these really great everywhere. I have travel books, I have cookbooks, I have books on business. I have they do a lot of Christian books, and yeah, can't complain about that. Novels. So that's how to buy all those books that I bought would have been thousands of dollars, and I got them for free. So not bad, not bad. Trying to think what else. Uh, I got a lot of paintings on the wall, which unfortunately I'm not taking you around with my camera and showing you around, but I'll just describe it to you. I've got paintings on the walls. I kind of have two themes. I have Hawaii, so I have pictures of the seashore, the sea line, or the coastline, different things about Hawaii, because my house is really a Hawaii theme, as you can see back there. Most of it's Hawaii. So when you come in, I want you to feel like, yeah, I'm in Hawaii and I really like it. So even if I want to turn off the air conditioner, open the windows and get the fresh air in, great. Why not? Right. Um, and then I have a certain wall over there where, because I spent most of my life traveling, I've been to 30 countries. So, and I have certain places I went to that I really, really loved. I liked every place I went to, but some were good and some had more bad to them. They were tougher, but there were certain places that I really loved. So I have this wall that I put paintings and I put things to remind me of the beautiful places I went to. And every day I see it, and I can also add to it because there's certain cities I haven't been able to find the right painting for it. And then also I have some of my tennis medals, some of my military decorations, uh, up on it. So those are good memories for me too. So yeah, I've got a painting of Paris. I love Paris. I have a painting of New York City. I love New York City, Manhattan. I'm looking for a painting of Tokyo or something to put up because I love Tokyo. And then Melbourne, Australia. I love Melbourne, Australia. Um, those would be the main places I could. Oh, in Germany, I do have some. I have a couple very beautiful paintings, small etchings and paintings. They're not copies. They're an artist drew them. I found them in the thrift shop, and they're absolutely. I mean, to me they're worth money, but no amount of money could replace that painting in my heart. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I'm sure that they have value to them, monetary value, because of the way they're paintings that an artist signed. So I put them up. They remind me of Germany, which I also love. So yeah, I got that wall set aside. So that's kind of my theme. And in the bedrooms, it's more the Hawaii theme. Um, yeah, not can't complain about that, right? Let me think what else I can talk about. Maybe someday. I'm already on 1 hour and 3 minutes, and maybe sometime someone's going to listen to this and say, "Yeah, Bob's he's interesting." Okay, I enjoy listening to him. I listen to people, believe it or not, for an hour every day. I listen to different YouTubers, and it's not unusual for me to listen to somebody 4 or 5 hours, or different ones, because I'm it's like watching a movie. You're getting more information. You kind of like the way that person talks, or they're giving you information that's of interest to you. And yeah, it would be not unusual for me to listen to someone for an hour, but usually I listen to like videos for like 20-minute videos, something like that, up to 30, because that's kind of the limit of my interest. And then after that, I move on to some other. But I do listen to certain videos for 1 hour. It'd have to be pretty unusual, more than 1 hour. Um, I watched the TikTok congressional testimony 3 days ago for I think I listened at least 2 hours because that was an interest to me and it was educational to me. The congressman and congress people were interviewing the TikTok chief financial chief executive officer and questioning him about China, communist China involvement with TikTok and why they were disagreeing with it and things like that. So I wanted to listen because I wanted to be more educated. But that's pretty unusual. And I do watch movies that could be an hour and a half to 2 hours because I do like to watch movies, and I've got a whole list of movies that are free online that I can watch. Sometimes they're comedies because I want to be lighthearted. Sometimes they're more historical. Sometimes they're documentaries. Um, those are kind of the movies that I like to watch. And, yeah, I can watch two movies a day at various times. Usually it'll be about two movies a week, maybe three, something like that. Depends on how busy I am. So yeah, I can say everything is really good here. Let's see, going back to speaking about the cars, I looked at the cars I'm looking at. I looked at Nissans. I went to the dealership. Uh, they're nice, but their warranty is limited to 3 years, and some warranties are 10 years from some manufacturers, new warranties. So I have to take that into consideration, when I get the car. Um, and then I went to Kia. Now, what's interesting is that I met the chief executive of Kia years ago at the Australian Open over several years, and he gave me his card. And he said, "Oh, if you ever need anything, let me know." But I misplaced that. I don't have that now. Nice guy from Korea, and you know, but I would always drive in the Kia luxury cars offered by the pro tennis tournament. And so I got to know the Kia cars from that period of time. And they were nice, they were very nice inside and enjoyable to drive around in. And that's the reason I looked at Kia. And they have a 10-year warranty. That's a good thing. So that's kind of my second choice. And then I looked at another car called Hyundai. I went there a few days ago, but they don't have any cars on their lot. Like, they have a dealership, but their cars are out, and they're expecting in like 6 months from now cars to come in. And I thought, boy, I don't want that headache. You have to wait 6 months, or if you have a problem with a car, you go to the dealership, and there's nobody there to really help fix the problem. So I said, no, Hyundai, I'm not getting. And then the cars that are kind of like Toyota and Subaru, they're more expensive, but they have a maybe somewhat of a better reputation. But Honda, Toyota, I just decided I didn't really want to pay that extra $5,000 to $8,000 for a car, because the car I'm going to buy, even if it's a Kia, is going to be brand new. No one's ever driven it. So if you keep the car for 5 to 10 years, probably you aren't going to have any problems. But even then, if it's covered by the warranty. So the car I'm kind of looking at is Kia, um, now, Versa or Rio. They're the cheapest models. Um, but then I haven't made up my mind. It could be a Nissan. Santero, or maybe Versa. I can't remember the exact names of the cars, but perhaps Nissan. But then I'm having to be satisfied with a warranty that's less, 3 years. Not sure how I feel about that yet. If I can get a Kia in the price range that I'm looking for, which is under 20,000, I probably would get a Kia. But they're raising their prices now on their cars, and they're going way up. So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna stick. And with Nissan, you can get a car for under 20,000. They're cheaper models. So we'll see. Okay. Uh, yeah. So that's I'm trying to think about what else I can. And as I'm talking, I can see how many people are online. Right now, this is being simul broadcast to my YouTube channel and to my Facebook. Uh, Zero. Sorry about that. Okay, well, I guess if so, but it gets archived, and if people say, "Oh, I want to watch it, tomorrow or next week or something," okay, fine, try it. Um, I just wanted to catch up because it has been 1 month since I did a live video, um, and Sorry, I'm kind of kicking back like this. I had the dog here earlier. Now the dog got down on the floor, which is good. Hang on, let me get more comfortable. There you go. Um, so now the Johnny the dog is like, no, come back up. All right, sit down. Hang on. Hang on, I gotta get the chair. All right. Where are you going, John? Huh? Where are you going, Johnny? Johnny's been a good addition to the house, I could say. Okay, I gotta get him down. Come on, get down. Get comfortable. Yeah, he's been a good addition to the house. Really a great dog. Doesn't bark. I've heard him bark like 3 times. One time when something surprises him, it takes a lot to get this dog to bark. He doesn't fight other animals at all. Even though when I've got 2 cats, right, that were shelter cats. When they first got together, he made it clear he went rah like that, at them, but then he only did that one time to each cat, and now they get near each other, but they don't like touch each other, and but he kind of set the tone, that okay, I can like bite or snap at you, right? So the cats are a little bit okay. We're gonna give him not get close to him, and but it's interesting. The 2 cats that I have 2 cats and a dog, and the 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 big cat that I have, he weighs about 11 pounds. He's not that much smaller than Johnny the dog, uh, similar size. He's in charge of the house. The dog, if he sees a cat come in, the dog will like go behind the chair, if necessary. He doesn't bother the cat. He did that one time, but for some reason, the cat took over. And so that cat is the dominant pet that I have. And then number 2 would be Johnny. And then number 3 would be a black cat that I have who's 11 years old or 12 now. And he's a smaller one. He weighs about 7 pounds, about, half the size of the dog and the other cat. And he's the one that is the least dominant. So he hides, he'll hide under the bed and stuff. But he gets out. I'm trying to get everybody friendly together and stuff. So yeah, that works out good as far as pets go. I don't no way I'm getting any more for sure. I'm not a crazy person with like 20 cats in the house, you know. So even like there are some people who live in my building. You're not supposed to have any pets in my building, but I was able to get the medical doctor gave me a exemption, so I was able to get that taken care of. But there are people who live here and they're trying to get them out, the management, that have like three dogs in an apartment, you know. I mean, and one of them, they're barking. Another one, 2 dogs are barking. It's kind of not major barking, but barking. But I can't even imagine having 3 dogs in an apartment. I mean, that's kind of rude to your neighbors, actually. So when those people are gone, I won't mind it at all. Uh, so yeah, so that's it. And every animal I have is quiet and clean, and they don't make noise. They don't, you know. I have cat litter, so you have to clean that every day. But that's it's minor. And he goes out. Johnny the dog goes out 3 times a day and goes outside, just outside the grass. So he's fine. And so yeah, life's good. Life's good. Can't complain. I always wanted to have animals, and boy, did I get blessed. Have 3 animals, and they're all good animals. You know, so I wanted when I was traveling and I was living all over the world and in Hong Kong and my family. I didn't really. I had for a short period of time. I had a dog that was a real small one. We had a dog, but we couldn't really take care of him, and there wasn't a way to really make it work well because you don't open your door and there's grass in Hong Kong. It's like it's like Manhattan. You just have concrete everywhere. So, excuse me. So yeah, I decided to um, just at the end of my life, toward the end of my life, I wanted animals. I didn't even know how that could be done, but it worked out. That's all I can tell you. And so, okay, enough about the animals. I'm trying to think what else I can talk about. Uh, maybe there's going to be somebody who's like, oh, if anybody listens to this entire video, make a comment. All right. I'll be like, well done. Uh, so, yeah. And the food in Hawaii is really good. I really love the food here. I can get all kinds of food. I mean, I have everything here in my house, that I could possibly want. The best food that you could possibly get, I've got. Okay. Thank you to the government. But um, here you have your normal fast food places, but you have a lot of small mom and shop kind of restaurant places, and then you have places with two or three different chain. They're like a chain, but they're just two or three. They're local, and most of it's Asian here. You have a lot of Asian food, and it's like home cooked food. So you have Filipino, you have Vietnamese, you have Chinese, uh, you have trying to think what else. Japanese, American food. You do have Italian. It's pretty easy to find Italian, and then other foods like German. You have to kind of look for those places. They're not easy to find. French, you can find it, but again, not easy to find. Um, Russian, I haven't seen any Russian food, but I'm sure it's here. So what happens is that Thai food is pretty common. You don't see too much Indian food here. But I'm again, it's just because you have to look for it. I'm just telling you the places when I go out and I see it out. Just as I pass by it. So the food here is really, really good, and it's not outrageously expensive. You can find this great food of any kind of country that you want, and you're paying between $10 and $15 for the meal, around that price range. So, wonderful. Seafood. Everywhere is seafood here, and fresh seafood. Pretty good. If you like food, this is a good place to come, especially Asian food. European, it's kind of not that common, but you can find it. And then we have steak places, good steaks here. So yeah, making me hungry actually talking about it. So I can't complain at all about the food situation. Um, yeah, life has been good. I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful. Working hard on making a few changes with the family situation here, and getting that all in place. Working on it. That's all I can say at this moment, simply because I've got things I've got to get done, paperwork to fill out, and then I'll let you know more. Um, yeah, yeah. uh, I'll be 66 in June 6th, and hopefully I live another at least 10 years, at least healthy 10 years. Anything beyond that would be great, but you never know at my age. I have a lot of friends that have passed on from high school, and um, so that happens. Um, but yeah, I try my best to keep myself healthy. I have excellent health care, so I'm constantly having exams done, preventative exams. So because I have three forms of health care here, and it's so my health care is free, and it's the best health care. I can go to any doctor, any hospital, and have anything done, and it's all provided by the government. So um, yeah, I can just I'm very blessed. So I try my best to stay on top of my health. Um, that's good. Younger people don't have the kind of the same benefits that I have because of my age, and I was in the military, and also my income. So all those things kind of work together for my benefit. I don't really know what it costs here to get like private health care. I'm not really sure. I kind of want to know about that, just so I can pass it on to people. But at this point, I don't know enough to be able to say how much it costs per month for someone to have good health care. If they don't have free health care. Um, so yeah, I'm very blessed that way. And I'm trying my best to get out and be active. I'm not doing a great job on that, to be honest with you. I need to do better. Like, for example, if I want to get out and walk for 2 hours, I can do it. I'm not very few people my age can do that, but I'm able to do it, and I do it pretty frequently. I go to Walmart nearby, and then I walk down to Costco, then I walk back, and that's probably at least 4 miles. And, uh, I can do it. It's not, but I do feel it, you know, so, but I don't have any problem at all. So, all good on that. And I know hardly any Americans who do that because they all have cars. I don't have a car yet, but they all have cars and they just get in their car and drive it. And I guess if I had a car, maybe I'd do the same. I'm not too sure, but it sure makes a difference with your health if you have to walk to the library, walk to whichever building that you're walk to the grocery store. If I have to carry something, then I take the van probably. So yeah, all good. Well, I think I'll stop for now, if you don't mind, and I hope that you enjoyed that. I thank you to Tong Wu who left some messages on my chat. I'm sorry I didn't reply right back to you, but I had to click a link and it had to open up the chat, and it did. So thank you for that. You know, um, I that's all I can really say for now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. It's 1 hour and 22 minutes, so hope I didn't bore you. Take care, everybody, and uh, aloha. That means, I'm not sure what that means in Hawaiian language, but it has some meaning. Okay, there you go. Take care.